Alright, you guys should be able to hear me now that I did the wrong thing at the wrong time with the wrong doohickey, but, alright, let's see if you guys can hear me now. Don't be sad, we're fixing it. This is stuff I should have checked over the weekend, but I did this new little welcome screen, impromptu, kinda. Yay! Alright, you guys can hear me. Woot! Alright, it wouldn't be Monday without bloopers, right? Wouldn't be Monday without bloopers at all. Let's see here. Let's see if Nightbot has decided to, play with us this morning. If not, then, you know, I'm gonna have to do something about the description later. Because I will be... Alright, so, over the weekend, well, we're gonna start with last week when I wasn't feeling too well. Ronan had a court date on Thursday. The judge lowered the gavel on the final say as far as child support is concerned, and he said that the only thing that Ronan needs to have garnished out of his paycheck is arrears. So out of the $440 to $500 a week that they were taking out, it is now down to $100 a week. And since a judge did it, we don't have to worry about the child support office dragging their asses and continuing the screwing that they have been doing with no lube on his paycheck and our lives. Which allows us to move on from here. Yep, it most definitely is. And since he had to take 2 weeks off from Schneider to get all this stuff done, we are back in the hole financially. But things are looking up because they did not get rid of him. As a matter of fact, yesterday he got back on the road with Schneider so we can get back on track to get our bills caught up to hopefully get out of here. And he wants to move into an apartment by Christmas. So fingers are crossed, and I don't have any wood around me to knock on, but we are hoping that we are going to be able to move on with our lives finally. And once we get in it, yeah, it would suck. Morning, Ghost Dog. Let's see here. Let me see what else. Oh yes, because after we get ourselves financially evened out and on the right track, we are going to wind up going to a justice of the peace to make what we feel about each other in our hearts official and officially change my last name. So be on a lookout for a date for that one. So, because we will announce when we are going to go to the justice of the peace to make that official. We never had an issue. The issue wasn't with paying the child support because he actually went in when he separated from his wife and set up the child support payments. His issue, thank you, Reality Check, his issue was always the amount. Thanks, CT. Thank you very, very much. His issue was always with the amount because his ex went behind his back and screwed him in order to get to that extravagant amount a week in child support. We're just glad we were able to resolve everything and get it down to something that he could afford paying. So we will be on our way to being financially comfortable, and when that happens, we will be on the way to the justice of the peace, like I said. As far as all the perpetuating drama that is going on, I am not going to talk about it. As a matter of fact, I think I have made this stance perfectly clear. When it comes to drama, I steer away from it because I usually have friends on both sides of the issue. And in order for me to maintain the friendships that I want to maintain, I am not going to take sides, nor am I going to put myself in the middle of any drama, nor am I going to put that drama on my channel. And if I can avoid the issues that cause the drama, I will avoid the issues that cause the drama. This means not going on any live streams where the drama is taking place, not commenting on any videos that are uploaded that perpetuate the drama. But if my friends happen to ask me about my particular point of view on it, I will DM them and let them know if I think they are screwing up or not. I don't want to call it a community, but when you have an eclectic group of people with differing views, you will often have people that will clash, butt heads, disagree. Disagreements are fine. They're normal. It's human nature. When it becomes over the top and absolutely ridiculous is when accusations start flying around from both sides, to both sides, and against everybody that is participating. And that is when I start labeling it drama, and that is when I start backing away. Reality check. I confess I got sucked into drama like last night's Kumite, but other than that, I don't like to get in the middle of the current popular drama. I don't either. And I did listen to a little bit of Tonkasaw's Kumite this morning while I was putting the show together. And the one thing that I have to say is I'm glad that I got taken out of the Daddy 05 loop before that shit hit the fan. Because I didn't want to be dragged in on that one. The group of people that all talk to each other equals a community. Yes, I agree, Tommy. As much as people don't want to call ourselves a community, I have gone back and forth on that particular word. The problem is, you can label yourself a community, but then you have people trying to add a label to that community. Like skeptic community. And I've never considered myself a skeptic. Some people would say that I'm saying that now because I got called out, do things that happen, and, you know, all that other stuff. But I've never considered myself a skeptic, okay? I can be a cynic. I can ask questions when I feel the questions need to be asked. But as far as being a skeptic is concerned, I have never considered myself a skeptic TM. I am my own person. I form my own opinions, and I know everybody in my live chat forms their own opinions as well. And that's what makes us unique. And on that, I am saying good morning this morning to Numbskull, Reality Check, Doubting Tommy, Lord of Cancer, if he's still listening, Ghost Dog, that I had said hello to previously, and Jason. Morning, Jason. Yep, we're going to talk about Charles Manson, too. Jesus Christ in heaven now. Yep. So, we've got that to work. We've got that to do today. So, let us get on with this part here. Alright. Let's see. This Monday starts on a somber note. Over the weekend, YouTube has lost a friend. Dark Art passed away at approximately 7:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, having lost his battle with lung cancer. He was like a father to Liz Reptile, a grandfather to me, and a friend who all who knew him. You could most often find him on Liz's cancer streams playing Quiplash and making people laugh, cringe, and sometimes facepalm with his answers. He was easy to talk to and a great guy to be around. He loved his wife Carol, whom he cared for immensely. I saw her once on cam with him and he could barely take his eyes off of her. Hey everybody became a phrase I look forward to when I saw him on his stream and Liz's. We would pick on each other in my Discord as well as have serious conversations over coffee. His presence will be missed. It will be a different Quiplash game without him there. No one can ever take his place. Dark Art, you will always have a place in my Discord. May you rest in peace without pain or worry. And that's not supposed to be there, but hey, we're having problems this morning. Blip, there we go. Alright, so, yep, we will miss him. He will be sorely missed. So the first short story that we're going to come out with is a story, let me see here, let me get my news. Alright, oops, do I even have Merkel on here? Oh yes I do. Alright, so we're gonna take care of that next. Alright, so from Sunday, Merkel in trouble as Free Democratic Party pulls out. I'm gonna put the party in there, don't I? The dropping out of the FDP has left Merkel scrambling to maintain stability on talks of forming a new government with her conservative bloc. This means there may be another election. The parties, which were close to some sort of agreement, were brought to a halt when FDP pulled out from them. Merkel has stated she would have to talk to Germany's president later in the day to go over how to proceed. This move by the FDP forces the PM to attempt governance with Social Democrats. The center-left party says they want no part in the coalition. Her other choice is to form a minority government, which is unlikely. If something does not happen soon to stabilize the government, there will have to be new elections. The two seemingly insurmountable hurdles are migration and climate change. The Greens are pushing to end use of coal in Germany by 2030, but also gave impressions they were open to compromise, and the Christian Social Union wants a cap on refugees, while the Greens wish to have relatives of the already existing refugees come into the country. So we've got that particular problem there. Yes, Panina, I live. Morning, Jason. Yes, we will miss the bad Santa, the dirty Santa, the Santa with the dirty mind. He had many, many, many nicknames, and we loved him all the same. So that is what we've got going on now. Next story is, now we're hitting the Chile stuff. All right. Whoops. Chilean elections. Sebastián Piñera is in position to be president of Chile once again after a Sunday vote. The millionaire's not out of the woods. However, his pledges of cutting taxes and doubling economic growth doesn't necessarily mean that he will have the votes he needs to skip a second round of elections on December 17th. There are those who say Piñera is too ambitious. Polls conducted indicate Chile will go the way of Peru and Argentina by choosing a more business-friendly candidate. So we're going to be keeping an eye on those elections to see what happens and what the ramifications of said elections mean for Chile. So we've got a couple of world things that happened over the weekend. And I have got to start lighting fire under my butt to start collecting these stories on Saturday. That way I have more of a weekend recap instead of getting up on Monday morning and wondering where I'm going to find all the news from the weekend. Which, you know, is what I have been doing, which isn't necessarily very, you know, vigilant of me. So I have got to change that. And for those of us that remember, alright, Helter Skelter, 2 words that most people recognize as the title linked to the massacres which sparked books, movies, and other performances. The man behind it was Charles Manson. And I keep forgetting the N for some reason. With a charisma that charmed the likes of Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten, Manson was feared by many, and my typos are like prevalent, was feared by many, but left many more in awe. He has passed away of gastrointestinal bleeding on October 19th. The spokesperson for the California State Prison in Corcoran, California, confirms his death. This Manson was a prime example. I keep forgetting the M for some strange reason. Manson, to me, is a prime example of how intelligence and charisma can be used for dangerous purposes. There were a lot of people killed. Helter Skelter is a movie that will probably haunt a lot of people that saw the movie as well as read the books and followed that particular case. Ghost Dog, Burn in Hell Manson. Yes. The reason, if some of you don't remember, the reason that he was never executed was because at the time that he was put in prison, California had revoked their death penalty law. So he was consigned to life in prison without possibility of parole. And that is why he rotted in prison instead of being executed. Oh, it was federal? Oh, okay. Oops. I goofed. I never had those issues. Because I know California went to life in prison and stayed his execution, and they still have life imprisonment today. Tax bill may strike health provision. The provision in question is about the fine that is mandatory for those who elect not to get health care. Those of us that got, our income tax refunds either completely negated or mostly negated because we didn't want to fall into the affordable health care, which everybody so unlovingly calls Obamacare. The sticking point is waiting for a needed vote from Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine. Mick Mulvaney, Trump's budget director, says the White House is receptive to scrapping the provision in question. This would repeal a key part of the Affordable Care Act, which was passed by the Obama administration. Removing the mandate would add revenue to the tune of $338 billion, which tax writers used for additional cuts. Collins has this to say about the supposed tax cut. Quote, "The fact is that if you do pull this piece of Affordable Health Care Act out for some middle-income families, the increased premium is going to cancel out the tax cut that they would get," unquote, Collins said. This is the same CARE Act that Trump administration has been trying to repeal and replace. Let me see. Jason, he also spent most of his young life in juvenile detainment. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you facts. Yeah, he did not have a very happy childhood, okay? And I know you're listing facts, and I recognize the fact that you are listing them. And some people would think that listing the facts would be some sort of defense when there is really no defense for what he did. He used his intelligence, his charisma, and his mental state being, I think, psychotic, if I'm diagnosing that correctly, to sway millions into doing what he, not millions, to sway millions on the TV, keeping them, glued to the court proceedings and things of that nature. And he swayed very many in his camp to do his bidding, which is eventually what he got charged for. I believe Susan actually got charged for one of the murders as well as the other two that were mentioned in the article. It's been a while. I'm going to have to go back and read that. Let's see, reality check. June 1972, Furman versus Georgia Supreme Court effectively voids 40 death penalty statutes and suspends the death penalty. Okay. He had federal charges before, starting in 1948 when he stole a car and drove it across state lines. Good morning, Fadra. Thank you for joining into the conversation this morning. And welcome to the Morning Brew. Let me see. And the last one that we've got on the agenda for today. We are in Zimbabwe today. And let me see if I can actually scroll this up to get this in frame. Yay! Zimbabwe's Mugabe passes deadline for resignation. Zimbabwe's president, Robert Mugabe, disregarded the midday deadline set by the ruling party of the country, who was calling for him to step down under the threat of impeachment hearings. Morning, Sarada Mantine. How are you doing this morning? This is after the people of Zimbabwe have promised to continue to protest. He has been stripped of power, making his refusal to leave all the more unusual. He was called to resign due to the collapse of the economy in Zimbabwe and the current state of the government. Hey, Rhetorical, so you're lurking. Ooh, I'm being lurked this morning. So, that's the news for the day. Let me see. If she didn't crack it, it would have been hard to prosecute him. Yeah, Tommy, I have to agree. Reality check. Susan Atkins was the reason the whole Manson family went down. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. He was never convicted of killing. He claimed to have murdered several people. Yeah, he claimed it, but they couldn't find who he murdered, or they couldn't back up his own boasts that he too had killed people. The only thing they could prove was people killed for him, which to me is a little more dangerous than him actually doing the killing, because God only knows how many people he swayed into doing his bidding. We know of 3 major players of the Manson family, but we don't know everything else that went behind the scenes. Let me see. Ghost Dog. China, new friends. Yep. Yes, Ghost Dog, and I'm going to be looking into that today. I couldn't do a full report on that, which is why I didn't report it this morning, because I got up at 7, but 3.5 hours was not enough time for me to do all the research that I needed, because I've been dragging ass. I gotta light a fire under my butt. I gotta get on board. I gotta get with the program, right? Let's see if there's any breaking news. Oh, let's see here. at 9:39 a.m. this morning, breaking news. Okay, CNN, so take it with a grain of salt. Woman says Al Franken inappropriately touched her in 2010. And like I said, this is CNN, so take this with a grain of salt. A woman says Senator Al Franken inappropriately touched her in 2010, telling CNN that he grabbed her buttocks, I love that word, buttocks, while taking a photo at the Minnesota State Fair. It is the first allegation of improper touching by Franken, who is a Democrat, while he was in office. It comes days after Leanne Tweeden, a local radio news anchor in California, said that Franken forcibly kissed and groped her in 2006 when Franken was a comedian. Franken has since issued an apology to Tweeden and faces a potential investigation by Senate Ethics Committee. And here is the link for that particular piece of news. And like I said, it's CNN sourced, so it may not necessarily, be completely accurate. According to Menz, she attended the Minnesota State Fair with her husband and father in the summer of 2010, almost 2 years after Franken was elected to Senate. Her father's small business was sponsoring a local radio booth, and she spent the day meeting various elected officials, political candidates, and celebrities, and taking photos with them as they stopped by the booth. When Franken walked in, Menz and her husband, who also spoke with CNN, said they recognized him right away. Menz said she had a brief and cordial exchange with the senator. Then, as her husband held up her phone and got ready to snap a picture of the two of them, Franken, quote, pulled me in really close, like awkward close. And as my husband took the picture, he put his hand full-fledged on my rear, unquote, Menz said. Quote, it was tightly wrapped around my butt cheek, unquote. It wasn't around my waist, it wasn't around my hip or side, it was definitely on my butt, she said, recalling that the brazen act lasted 3 or 4 seconds. So, yep. That's another one. So, there's that. Let's see if there's any more breaking news. And I'm also looking into the story where, Trump said that he should have never let the basketball players out of jail, because I don't know that whole story. I know what happened over the weekend. I'm going to have to research that and look a little more in depth to it, and probably do a video on it later on today. So we have that one. Alright, here we go. Let's go. It is about that time.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Okay, now it's time to get this under the road here. And as I'm trying to get my shit together, because it's Monday, and your shit is never really together on Monday, is it? Alright, so, blink, there we go. Our recommended views for the day start with Midnight's Edge. Let me see, reality check. I feel like Franken's getting accused of crap to level the playing field with the liberals. He's a clown. I hate the liberals who are defending him by calling Leanne a slut and taking out her Playboy pics. Yeah. It's just, to me, there's a lot of stuff coming out of the political arena, coming out of Hollywood. People are coming out going, X did this to me, X groped me here, X touched me here, X made me kiss him on this date here. And it's just, there's a lot of accusations and speculation flying around. And I would like other witnesses that witness these things to happen to come forward as well. Because to me, it just really feels bandwagon-y. Everybody's jumping on this bandwagon. Everybody is saying, well, let me get recognition by saying so-and-so groped me too. Even though I wouldn't do something like that just for notoriety and recognition, because to me there's no sense in it. Why in the hell would you want to accuse somebody of something that could possibly, if it actually happened, traumatize you to some extent? It makes no sense. Just for fame, just for a couple of dollars, maybe it's me. But I would rather maintain my dignity and my respectability and not accuse somebody of something that didn't happen, or just jump on a bandwagon. And why did these women wait this long? The statute of limitations on sodomy and molestation is 5 years. Rape is 5 years. All these allegations are 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. Why now? Why now? It's just a question I'm always going to wind up asking because it makes no sense to me. Alright, so first thing on the recommended view list, Midnight's Edge answers the question, why do cinematic universes that aren't Marvel so often fail? They went into in-depth detail as to what their, most are 20 to 40 years old, as to why they believe that cinematic universes other than Marvel's cinematic universe have failed, and it's a rather interesting watch. So I do recommend that one. Suit Yourself did a video in memory of Dark Art. It is, I like the video because it's in Dark Art's spirit. Dark Art would have wanted us to continue smiling and moving forward and joking. And I am trying to see if I can get other people that were his friends to do a Quiplash stream in his honor and have it be a drunk stream and awake. Because I believe awake would be more appropriate for Dark Art than a very somber live stream where people are sitting around online talking about how they met him and what a good guy he was. I think we need to have awake. I think he would like that. I think that's the kind of person he was, and I think that's the perfect way to honor his memory. Well, let me see. Next one. The Finer Print. Non-Issues. The Game. This video is not only well put together, it is freaking hilarious. I found myself laughing my butt off at the way that he did this, as well as, nodding with him on many of the points that he made in this video. So please give that a watch. And he is undersubbed, y'all. Go over there and help him out. Show him some love. Last one on the list is Undoomed with the Repugnant Conclusion. A very interesting and in-depth video about how philosophers disagree with how success in a society should be marked. He breaks it down. He makes it easy to understand. And his points are very, very clear and precise. So we have that one there. Alright, so on to the funny junk, right? Okay, here we go. Dump a day. Let me see. Make sure this thing... Yep. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should. I do desire we may be better strangers. Oh, wow. That one doesn't make any sense, but I like the cat. If your car is white, I will poop black. If your car is black, I will poop white. Okay, the bird game is about to start. What do you mean I'm not a people? Oh my god, that is too adorable. Absolutely too fucking adorable. You tell everyone I'm your baby. Cats constantly look at you like you just asked them for a ride to the airport. He likes to sit like a cat. Oh my god, that's cute. I turn vegetables into bacon. Yep. What's your superpower? Alright. Oh my god. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? How the hell did he do that? I want to know how he did that. Oh my god, that squirrel got himself in a pickle. I've made a huge mistake. The bird landed by my window and stared at me like I murdered his whole family. Toll booth kitty demands exact change. Where's my breakfast? I will calm him Squishy. I will call him Squishy. Oh my god, that's cute. And he shall be mine, and he shall be my Squishy. Why is the weekend only 2 days? Why? I ask that question often. Oh my god. I get on the dining table, but I'm too afraid to get down. And that's our last meme of the morning for our funny junk. Oh, I hope you guys like that. And for some strange reason, that is showing up. Yay, you gotta love it when something that's not supposed to show up is showing up. Anyway. Anywho. Alright, let's see if we can get this. There we go. That's why it's still showing up for some strange reason. Alright, so live streams today is Kumite that has already started. The Ghost Poo Podcast with Irate Bear at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jason Brazeal has his pub at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lords of the Night are at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you will notice there is no link down here. I'm going to have to get together with Scribe and Monkey. SDA is temporarily not streaming due to one reason or another. So this usually is her day, but since she cannot host, I will probably throw the link out later as to where you can find the Lords of the Night cast later on in the day. That's okay, Sir Wolfie. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to go back to this screen. And we're going to end it with my usual memes and funny junk. Alright, so Ghost Dog. Most are 20 to 40 years old. Yes, most allegations are 20 to 40 years old. This is where I want to talk to you guys for a little while. It is Monday, Sir Wolfie, so I've had a lot of technical issues this morning. You're late, which I'm not holding against you. Mornings can be rather hectic, especially Monday mornings. Rhetorical Entertainment. There are tons of regular tickets left. VIP tickets are sold out. Ooh, Kilroy. Right. Just a heads up, the Kilroy crowdfunding is at 52%. For those of you that don't know what Kilroy it is a 100% free speech convention that is being hosted and put together by Base Mama, Sister Danger, and Dave Cullen, otherwise known as Computing Forever. And when they say free speech, they mean free speech. They don't care if you are far left, far right, somewhere in the middle, kind of off center, a little off kilter, a bit nutty. They want to see you there if you can afford to go. They do have lots of interesting speakers lined up. There are people that are planning to go. Hopefully I will have the money to go, even though I won't have money for a ticket right now. Hopefully the tickets will still be available when we do have money for tickets, because I would really like to go to Kilroy and have a beer with some of my friends. Kilroy is, let me see if I can remember how to spell it. KilroyEvent.com, I believe that's what that is. I believe that's how you find it. Or I could do the easy thing and make my dear Arthur a moderator so he can post the link in the live chat. Okay, here we go. So, later on today, I am going to be probably uploading a video, but there are some commissions that I have to work on first. There are some projects that I have to knock out. Real life always comes first, even though first thing in the morning is my morning brew. So, on that note, my friends, may your coffee ever flow, may your caffeine be ever strong, and may you have a marvelous Monday. Take care of yourselves, my coffee nuts.